Lunch here, and there was a pretty big update that just dropped for Star Wars Unlimited. They just did a game stream where they talked about rotation, some changes to booster packs, and some other miscellaneous stuff. And it's some really big and important things, so I kind of wanted to talk about it a little bit, get my take on it. There's a lot of people freaking out on Facebook groups and stuff about the rotation. Although I believe that they had announced when they first launched the game that there was going to be a rotation of some sort. I do have some opinions on that. Some good, some bad. I'm not as doomsday as everyone else, but people seem to be freaking out about it, so I wanted to talk to it a little bit. For those of you that don't know, I play 6 games actively, as well as having 3 other games that I have decks in but don't actively play. So I have been through a lot of game systems. Some of those games have rotations, some of them don't, but I just wanted to kind of talk a little bit about what the changes mean for the game from this stream. So the big one obviously is rotation. Basically every 6 sets, or every 3 sets are going to be a block, and then the block will stay for 2 years and rotate out. So basically what it looks like right now is when we hit set 7, sets 1, 2, and 3 are going to leave. This is a bit weird. I don't like that all 3 sets leave at once. The reason behind that is pretty much every game other than Star Wars Unlimited does 4 sets a year. Star Wars Unlimited only does 3. So what that means is basically every 3rd set you're only going to get a year and a third to play with, since they all fall off at once. And I think that's just too short of a time to play with your cards. I do like rotation. I'm going to say that and people are going to yell at me, but rotation is just healthy for a game. It is unfortunate monetary-wise, obviously, especially for things like showcases. It really sucks that like your set 1 showcases are going to leave and you won't be able to play them in the main constructed format. One other thing that's really important to know about this is they have stated that there will be, here it is, a new head-to-head format that will use all the cards. Basically, they're going to have a standard format where it's rotating sets, and they're going to have an expanded format where you can use any card. They said it's going to be supported. We're not really sure what that means yet, and I am a little worried that we're going to end up with like barely anyone using those sets. We will have a head-to-head format for this, though, which obviously is a really big deal. So you will be able to use your cards in some capacity. Also, there's no rotation for Twin Suns, which it definitely looks like they're trying to get to support more. This is the Commander format, for those that don't know about it, which basically means it's 100-card decks. You have 2 leaders. They both have to be light side or dark side in one base, and it's meant to be played as a 4-player multiplayer game. So obviously that should not have a rotation ever, as it's more of a casual format for you play for fun. I will say they're making Twin Suns mats and deck boxes for this coming Jump to Lightspeed set, so they may be looking at supporting that format more. But obviously, like, in terms of monetization, rotation sucks. Like, there's nothing really to do about it. Like, you are going to have cards that are valuable, and you are not going to get to play them in main constructed format, which, what I mean by main constructed means probably, I imagine, most of their big 2-day events. I'm assuming that Nationals every year, Galactic, I think it's called in this, will be the rotating format and things like that. In terms of gameplay in the game, rotation is actually a good thing. A lot of games have issues, Yu-Gi-Oh! Being the most prominent, where just rampant power creep comes in because nothing ever rotates, so the only way to keep the game profitable and going is to make stronger and stronger cards. This definitely helps with that a lot. It's the easiest way to have that. And they did mention, I think later, that there's possibility for reprints as well. So I'm assuming they would use this to put old cards back into the rotation. Just reprint them in sets, things like that. And I guess we do already have sets with the same card, like Vanquish is in multiple sets. So I'm assuming they're going to keep doing that going forward. My opinion on rotation, kind of to conclude, is that rotation is good. However, I don't like all 3 old sets falling off at once because we only get 3 sets a year. it causes the third set to not be able to get played with very much, which I don't like. I think they should have them fall off one at a time. As like the 7th set comes out, just the first set drops off. That's a little harder to balance, and I know it's kind of annoying with how, like, knowing which cards are legal. That's probably the biggest reason they wouldn't do that. Pokemon puts little alphabetical letters on the bottom of their cards, and they're going to have markers for rotations, but I feel like it would just be better if the sets fell off one at a time. Some changes to booster packs that are actually pretty big. Everyone's kind of yelling about rotation, but there's actually some really other good information in here. Same slots are going to stay the same. In sets going forward, they're adding 10 commons, so 90 to 100 commons, 2 less rares, and they're adding 4 legendaries. So what that's going to do is add a little more cards to the set, which is nice because we only get 3 sets a year instead of 4. 2 less rares is good. I feel like sometimes getting sets of rares is really annoying in this game. And 4 more legendaries is actually fine. You'd be worried that it would increase the price of legendaries because obviously they're harder to pull. However, they are also increasing the rate of legendaries in packs from 1 to 8 pack to 1 to 5 pack, which is a massive, massive increase. That means you're going to get like 2 to 3 more legendaries per box. And I'm kind of down for it, honestly. I think base legendaries should be cheaper in this game, just in general. I don't like the fact that we have like $50 base legendaries, especially since there's so many other opportunities between the new alt arts and the carbonite packs, the full arts, the full art foils, hyperspace. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. As well as like leaders and showcases. There's just a lot of ways to pull hits. I would like the base play of the game to be cheaper. I'm usually always for that in games. I like cheap base cards. Fancy alternate art cards is like the best way to go in my opinion for games. And I feel like right now boxes, since they have so few legendaries, like you can get boxes with only 3 legendaries. Those legendaries are all $5 or less. Like that's such a minus if you're only getting that few. So even though they're increasing the number of legendaries, this larger rate of legendaries and packs should actually make legendaries more affordable. The other thing is they're going to take the starter deck cards out of the tournament packs, and they're going to put them in normal packs. However, they will only be hyperspace or hyperfoil versions, so they aren't like regular commons in the pack. You have to get the hyperspace or hyperfoil ones, and I believe they said that they will be at lower rates than the other hyperfoils, so they're actually going to be decently hard to pull. I don't really like this. I really liked not having to buy structure decks, and that kind of feels like what this is. They're like, oh crap, no one's buying structure decks because the exclusive cards, everyone just gets them at tournaments. Or you can just order them on TCG because they cost nothing. So I don't really like that. I don't want to buy structure decks, I'm going to be honest. I think structure decks should just be used for people getting into the game and should never really be required for competitive players to buy. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. I wish they didn't. The only way this would be okay for me is if they put something cooler in the tournament packs, because the tournament packs right now are kind of mid. Like, what if we put like some foil legendaries in there or something, like some alt art legendaries, just like 2 or 3, make them a little harder to pull out of the tournament packs. Just give me a reason to like want to open the tournament packs, because as it is right now, at my locals, we get, a tournament pack plus a regular pack for entry, and I almost don't ever care about the tournament pack. I usually just end up giving it to someone who wants the cards, because after you've opened, 10 of them, and you've gotten your starter, cards and, maybe some foils of the specific one you want, they're just kind of junk. So, I am down. I am okay with this in exchange for having cooler tournament packs. That's what I want out of it. The last couple things that they were announced, reprints could have new art, but nothing to announce yet. So this makes me think that they are going to do reprints, possibly with new alt arts, which would be really cool. This could come in the form of tournament promos. This could come in the form of tournament pack promos, which would be really cool. But I'm guessing this is mostly for set 1 cards that they have issues with, which keep in mind, set 1 is going to rotate at March of next year, so we've only got about a year left to play with the set 1 cards anyways, so things like Vader and Luke will probably come down. Also, the other thing they announced was no bans are currently coming, but they are watching the PQs closely. And I hate this, but I agree with it. Because if you look at the tournament results overarching for all the PQs, it's actually like diversity-wise a pretty healthy meta. Gameplay-wise, that's kind of a more of an opinionated thing, but the highest win rate, I believe, or the highest winning deck is like 35%, I think, which is double yellow Han 1. And then there's a couple other decks at like 20 to 25, and then there's a bunch at a lot lower than that. So I kind of agree. Like, gameplay-wise, there are cards I wish they would ban. I'm going to make a video about that probably later. But I can see why, looking at the numbers, they don't have any bans coming. And I also like the assistance that they're watching PQs closely, and they could change their mind at any point. It's always nice to let people know this, because otherwise people complain when their cards get banned. So I guess the big thing is rotation's coming. I like that they're doing rotation. I don't like the full implementation of it. I do think that saying they're going to support another format, also that Twin Suns can use any cards, helps a little bit. Obviously, it's a little painful still, because like there's a guy at my locals who has a full complete set of set 1, like 3 of everything, hyperspace, non-hyperspace, and the value on that's going to go down a lot, especially showcases. The real person this hits is the person that has like 10 set 1 showcases. Like, it's nice that you can play them in Twin Suns and things, and they are collectible because they're really pretty, but I foresee a lot of them dropping from like that $300, $350 price range down, probably losing like at least $100 in value when they rotate, if not a little more. It's just hard because like you're trying to balance cards that are so expensive with just a better game in general. So, you know, some people get hurt by this. I'm sure some people will leave the game come of it, but I do think overall it's a good change. I really like the changes to booster packs. I like this a lot. I'm a little annoyed that starter deck cards aren't going to be in the tournament packs, but I mean, I can probably still get those off TCG for cheaper. It's just annoying if I'm going to want them right away to play with. I'm still not buying structure decks. I refuse. And the couple miscellaneous ones, no bans coming is like the other big thing. So yeah, what do you guys think? Do you guys like rotation? Do you hate the idea of rotation? It's definitely a less casual focused concept to have in your card game. And I just want to hear from you guys down below. See what you think. Hope you all have a nice afternoon, and goodbye.